sought after yacht harbour in Langebaan. Hello, welcome to 5 Minutes with Errol Musk. I'm Anneke, clinical psychologist. Today we are sitting on the yacht harbour. It's close to where Ariel lived, and behind me you will see the last yacht that he actually have. So I decided to do a session on yachts because many people ask what is the story about Ariel and his yacht. Ariel, I believe you have about 5 yachts.
Yes, well, I started yachting. I've had quite a number of yachts. I started yachting. I was an inlander. I lived on in the interior of the country, and my passion was flying. So I, sort of really bought my first aircraft before I had anything. I was about 23 years old. I bought my first aircraft. It was like $2,000 at that time. But at any rate, and so my passion was flying, but then I had always this sort of longing to know about the sea, and going to the sea was always like very difficult because I didn't know about it, and I started by buying an Ocean-going Yacht, and I bought this yacht. It was the Publicity Association's yacht in Durban called Trade, and I had no papers at that time, and I had to hire a skipper, and the yacht had already been pre-arranged to do a charter to an island, to an atoll in the Indian Ocean. And I went on this trip as a sort of passenger but owner, and it didn't go too well. There were 2 yachts. The first yacht, the captain I had was not very good, and the first yacht hit the atoll and sank in 5 minutes. And our yacht, we were fortunate enough to be apprehended by the French Navy, and they helped us to not get too much damage. But anyway, the boat had to be brought back by salvage, my boat, to Durban. So my first trip was it was on television. It was quite an experience. And after that, I bought a much bigger boat, and it had a bathroom and everything. And that's the boat that I sold to be able to send money to my sons overseas for zip.
What's the name of that boat?
Esprit de Vent. And then after that, I bought Storm Chaser, which is a smaller boat, but a fast boat, and I did a couple of yacht races with that at sea, all at sea. A lot of these people buy boats; they don't take them anywhere. But we did the sea, and then I subsequently had a boat in LA, which was a very big power boat on several levels, very fancy boat. And then subsequently here in South Africa, I bought this boat, and this boat I sailed to South America, and I also sailed it south into the roaring 40s on my own to see what it was like at the lower latitudes, But I also delivered a yacht that was made here, a big catamaran. We delivered it took my daughter Ali, she was 16, with us to deliver a yacht to Cannes. So we went from Cape Town around the bulge of Africa into the Mediterranean, through Gibraltar, wound up at Cannes.
How many people were you on the boat?
We were 4 people: Piet van der Westhuizen, Byron Berg, myself, and Alexandra, my daughter. And so that was quite a long trip, 2.5 months to get there. Yeah, 2.5 months. So it's quite a long trip, And it was quite an experience. And what else can I say? Sailing is, quite boring, really, at sea for long periods of time. You see the water all around you, and you know that next weekend you're still going to be seeing the water all around you, and the next weekend you're still going to be seeing the water all around you. So you have to have a lot of patience, and
I'm sure
it's a 24-hour day job. You don't go to bed at night. It's a 24-hour a day business, and and you get malnutrition. So on that 2.5 months trip, my daughter suffered from malnutrition because food doesn't last very long. It lasts about a week. And fresh food, and so she had a bit of malnutrition, but she also lost a lot of weight, so she was very happy. So my advice, in fact, my advice to people overweight: take a yacht trip. There's no such thing as I can't lose this weight. It doesn't exist. I've seen people that were corpulent take a yachting trip to cross the ocean and come back looking like reeds. They were so thin, and also of course a few teeth missing and things like that, because it's not exactly easy. And as a matter of fact, compared to flying, I found yachting quite a lot of a bigger challenge. Although I flew very far up in Africa, as far as Egypt and stuff like that, I never found flying that difficult. But sailing is there's no such thing as a day without something happening, some incident, something going wrong, and it's just a continual wear and tear that takes place. And if you can imagine being in a washing machine, dryer or something like that, a bigger dryer, and you put you in that and then switch it on, that you have some idea of what it would be like to be on a sea in a yacht.
Yeah, I think we're very spoiled here. We just go down the lagoon.
No,
it's
that's ridiculous.
17 kilometers.
Nonsense.
And we think it's very nice, but this is not yachting, the real yachting.
No, a lot of people buy yachts with they've never done it, they don't know anything about it, and they have no idea what the sea is like. They're just businessmen, they make some money and they think, well, I'll buy a yacht. They have no idea what they're doing, and most of those people, the yachts never go anywhere. And they generally take one trip out to sea for the first time, and that's it. They never go out again. And you have to have the stomach for it. And you know, everybody gets seasick. There's no such thing as nobody gets. That some people don't get seasick. Everybody gets seasick. So you depends on your focus. So if your focus is strong, you weather the seasickness better. But it's actually a voluntary torture. So. You know, and also the other description of yachting is, you know, standing in a shower and tearing up, you know, $50 notes. So, you know, while you're being showered, you know, just taking a bunch of $50 notes and just tearing them up one by one.
Yeah.
So that's about semi sort of the definition of sailing. But it's a challenge. So you want to see if you can do it. And, you know, I've lost a lot of people. In flying, I've lost more people. I've lost about 80 friends in flying over the years, but that's 50 years. Killed, I mean. Yeah. And then in sailing, I've had about half a dozen of my friends, you know, lost at sea or fell off the yacht or I've never seen again and things like that. So, yeah, it's all these things are a challenge. They're not so simple.
So, but you must also know the rules of Neptune, I think.
Yes, but you mustn't spit in the sea. That's one thing you mustn't do. If you spit in the sea, for captain or if your skipper or your captain of your boat sees you spit in the sea, he'll come and give you a wallop, boy. And you then have to take a bottle of wine, at least a bottle of wine, but more likely a bottle of, you know, hopefully cheap champagne. And you have to open it and pour it into the sea as a tribute to Neptune. And otherwise, you are looking for trouble. You can't leave shore on a Friday because Neptune doesn't like Fridays. You never depart on a Friday. If you change the name of a boat, you have to make a special plea to Poseidon with at least half a dozen people. I beg pardon, to Neptune. It's also Poseidon. Some people regard it as Poseidon. Many people think of it as Neptune, which is the Roman god of the sea. And you don't insult the sea in any way. And when you're out on the ocean, you realize, well, you know, like sharks and things like that are exciting because just to see another living creature is very exciting. And because out there it's just you and the deep blue sea.
The most difficult trip that you did, was that the one that you did with Anneke the Med?
No, the trip to the Med was not particularly difficult. We had a lot of trouble getting across the equator. When you cross the intercontinental convergence zone, which is where the equator, where the winds switch, you know, you don't have wind, so you have to motor to try and get across that section, and uses a lot of fuel to motor, so you know it's hard to carry enough fuel for that kind of thing. So you have to be very careful with fuel and to make sure you don't run out of fuel. And yeah, so no, I wouldn't really do another sea trip, but it'd have to, unless of course somebody offered it to me and became something like a challenge. Going south to the to the Roaring 40s. I never really got as far as the Roaring 40s. I got to the Roaring 38s, and I decided, no, wait a minute. I was on my own, so I decided to turn back to Cape Town, and I was very pleased to actually get back in one piece because I was all on my own.
Sure. Thank you, Errol. We will do another one about you and being the king of the air as well. So Errol did flying at the age
I've had many aeroplanes. I've had about 40 aeroplanes.
Okay, you still have one, so
Still have one now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.